basketball on the SEC Network. Live from Lexington, Kentucky and legendary Rupp Arena. I'm Paul Sunderland, joined by former Ole Miss head coach Andy Kennedy. The Kentucky Wildcats back at #1 for the 7th time under Coach Cal as they face the Purple Aces of the University of Evansville for the very, very first time. And Andy, one thing that's very consistent at the University of Kentucky is a lot of change year in, year out.
There's going to certainly be turnover, Paul. You see right there, great crew last year led by 3 first-rounders. So what do? You reload if you're Kentucky. The #3 rated national class in the country. Add a 5th-year senior in Nate Sestina, and then you couple them with a solid core of returning cats.
The starting lineup for Kentucky: Ashton Hagans will be at the point. Nate Sestina, the transfer out of Bucknell. Khalil Whitney. Nick Richards will be there as well, along with Emmanuel Quickly. And Tyrese Maxey will come off the bench. E.J. Montgomery will miss his 2nd straight game. And there is John Calipari, beginning his 11th season here on the sideline for the Wildcats. 30-7 last year to the Elite 8. His 5th 30-win season for the now Naismith Hall of Famer as of 2018. And on the other sideline, a very familiar and very popular face and name. Walter McCarty won a national championship here for Kentucky in 1996. Spent 10 years in the NBA, started his coaching career at Louisville the last several years in the NBA before going back home, his hometown of Evansville. And we're underway. Kentucky will control the opening tip.
First meeting ever between these two schools. Can you believe that? Both of these are storied programs. Obviously, Kentucky is the standard bearer, but the first time ever these two teams have met. You think Walter McCarty's connection had something to do with it?
Maybe just a little, and rightfully so.
That's right.
It is difficult to win a national championship, and he has got one. Evansville, they won their first game at home against Ball State, 79-75, and they were led by DeAndre Williams, wearing number 13 in their purple uniform. 6'9" sophomore out of Houston, Texas, who did not play last year, came in with a double-double.
Wow, did you see that? Talk of double-double, that was a double dribble.
Well, double-doubles.
That was definitely on cue. A little double dribble they missed. It's early in the season for everybody.
Nice hard take to the basket by Quickly, the 6'3" sophomore out of Maryland. K.J. Riley, the 6'5" senior out of the Bronx, New York, picks up his first personal foul.
Quickly had been shooting the ball really well, Paul, throughout the exhibition season. Has not really got it going. Maybe that early layup in transition, finishing with a free throw, kind of gets him going a little bit. Cal says he may be the most improved player on the team.
Yeah, shooting only 31%, 5 of 16, as you point out, so far from the floor, and only 2 of 7 from outside the arc.
Counter to their first game where Eastern Kentucky was going to play really up-tempo basketball. Evansville will be a little smarter in the half court.
A lot of contact and quickly a turnover. The officials for this evening's game, one of the best in the business, Doug Shows, who's worked a Final Four, Owen Short, and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal will be working the game tonight.
Hey, let me tell you,
rolled right off.
You're a KG veteran to attempt that early. The issue Evansville's going to have, as you've seen early, Paul, is the fact that it's very, very difficult to score against Kentucky. I think this has got an opportunity to be one of Cal's most elite defensive units, and that's saying something, as last year's team was 8th in the country in defensive efficiency.
Sestina getting into the pick and pop with Hagans. Shot clock inside of 5. Hagans step back on the way. Looked good when it left his hand. A little bit long, and the rebound is taken by Quickly. Nice rebound in traffic by number 13, Williams of Evansville.
Solid defensive effort right there, and that's what they'll try to do. Score early, score late. If they get an opportunity in the open floor, they will not hesitate to shoot the 3. Made 9 in their opener against Ball State. That young man, a transfer, was 2 for 3.
We'll talk about the three-point line. People know by now, with the season underway, that it's been moved back pretty significantly. What kind of impact do you think that'll have on the college game?
Well, I think it's going to reduce volume and efficiency, and on cue,
I thought for sure he'd make it. The reverse.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice. You know, that's one of the areas that Kentucky has struggled in to this point. Small sample size, only 2 games. In the last game, of which I did against Eastern Kentucky, they got it at the basket at will, so they didn't shoot a lot. But that's one area, and I think Evansville is going to do a good job of making them prove their abilities from behind the arc.
Nice take by number 30, Noah Frederking, 6'4" junior out of Oakville, Illinois. And to your point, again, very small sample size, just 2 games, Michigan State and Eastern Kentucky. Wildcats shooting just 8 of 32, but last year they were a 35% free throw shooter team, but the line was significantly closer.
Yeah, no question, and they had a different cast of characters, obviously, with Tyler Hero. Here's how you beat the suffocating pressure on the wings. What do? Fundamental basketball, hit the elbow and back cut. They got Khalil Whitney staring at the ball.
DeAndre Williams picked up his first personal foul. But Richards has it stripped away inside, recaptures, and takes it up at the rim.
A little upset he didn't get the and one. He's not more upset than John Calipari. I assure you it should have been an and one. Didn't quite catch it cleanly. This young man is coming off a monster game in his last outing, went 9 for 10 with point-blank opportunities in the open floor. He won't get as many of those in this game in the full court. He's got to execute strong in the half.
Sprained his ankle during the exhibition season, and it was somewhat doubtful in some people's minds whether or not or how effective he might be against Michigan State. Was very good there, and as you pointed out, came back with a double-double the other day against Eastern Kentucky. An easy 91-49 win for the Wildcats.
Paul, he is a huge key for Kentucky. They are loaded at guard. I believe a little thin up front. This kid's a junior, which is an eternity in this program under John Calipari if you come back your 3rd year. I think he's made the right decision. You can see he's playing with a lot more confidence, a lot more maturity. His body has changed, and he is a huge key moving forward for Kentucky.
Ashton Hagans wearing number 0, the 6'3" sophomore out of Georgia, the reigning SEC co-defensive player of the year. Got to give some love to Tremont Waters out of LSU. They shared that award last year. Hagans picked up his first personal.
Best on-ball defender in college basketball for my vote. Incredible, strong, can move his hands and his feet. He's got a little Gary Payton to his game on that end.
Wow.
The human glove, they used to say.
The glove.
I think Hagans has that same makeup. Physically strong. You have to remember, he reclassed last year, so he should be an incoming freshman this year. Age-wise, 1 year of experience under his belt. I think the kid's going to have a tremendous year.
Hagans picked up a foul at the other end, and this was called on Nick Richards. That's their first, respectively.
The special teams of college basketball. Great job by Walter McCarthy and the Evansville Aces. Those are the times you can really set it. Special teams, man. You want to be +8 throughout the course of the game. Good execution. Kid cashed it in.
Juwan Newton burying the 3-pointer, the 6'3" sophomore out of El Paso, Texas. A little change of pace. Sestina right at the front of the rim. Jump hook, needs a bounce, doesn't get it. Gets the offensive rebound. Takes it back up strong and just powers right through the defense of Evansville.
Evansville's doing a very good job on first shot defense, but they've got to do a better job off their defensive glass. If you allow Kentucky to eat off their offensive glass, you have I repeat, zero chance to beat them in Rupp Arena.
And big for Evansville and head coach Walter McCarty in his 2nd year. Back home in Evansville, KJ Riley just picked up his 2nd personal foul. He's got to go to the sideline. He'll be replaced by Evan Kuhlman. Good 3-point shooter, an aggressive 3-point shooter. Sestina is really an interesting story. Reed Travis started it last year as a grad transfer out of Stanford. That was out of the Pac-12 conference. But then you have out of Bucknell, you have Nate Sestina. And what made anybody think that he could make that jump from the Patriot League to the SEC?
And he has made it seamlessly. I love the kid's energy. He comes into this thing so confident, and he has produced for them early. As Reed Travis was perfect for last year's Kentucky squad, Nate Sestina is equally as perfect for this version of the Cats.
Number 5 in purple, Shamar Givens on the floor now for the Purple Aces. Kentucky with the early 8-5 advantage. Kuhlman down inside. Nice little jump hook. Those are the shots that Evansville needs to have fall.
That was great offensive execution, and then you've got to pay it off. The difference is, as you said, good effort right there.
Steal by DeAndre Williams, a couple of pump fakes, and finally He got Richards off the floor, who picked up his second personal foul. Just underway here in Lexington. Thanks so much for joining us. College basketball coming your way on the SEC Network. Last Tuesday, the State Farm Champions Classic, where else but Madison Square Garden, and what a way to kick off the college basketball season just one day after his 19th birthday. Freshman Tyrese Maxey, and he sort of raised a lot of eyebrows around the world of college basketball.
Yeah, what an incredible debut. Welcome to college basketball, Mr. Maxey. One day removed from his 19th birthday, he goes into the most storied building for basketball in our country and drops 26 on the #1 ranked team in the country in Michigan State. Really impressed with that young man. But what really impressed me, Paul, through 2 games, again, small sample size, is the fact that Kentucky is guarding at a very elite level, holding teams to 55 points, under 32% from the field, turning them over almost 2-1. This Kentucky team will go as far as their defense carries them, and I think this group's got a chance to be elite for Cal.
Guard heavy, guard very, very talented indeed, as Tyrese Maxey comes on for the first time. But some concerns up front now. Richards just picked up his second personal foul, and we know that E.J. Montgomery will not be available tonight.
Yeah, they're a little thin. You know, they've got guards for days, a little thin up front. They just checked in another one of the fantastic freshmen, Keon Brooks, who's big enough, especially in a game such as tonight, where they can play him and Sestina together at the 4-5 and not miss a beat.
Keon Brooks Jr. wearing number 12 in white, 6'7", 205 pounds, out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. The number 12 wears the number 12 after his father's great career in high school. Floater in the lane, not there. Battle for the offensive rebound, kept alive by number 1 Sestina. New college to basketball, excuse me, Andy. The shot clock on an offensive rebound resets only to 20.
I like the rule. You can tell without Ashton Hagans in as well, the game is not quite as fluid offensively.
That's going to be a traveling violation.
I think
Emmanuel quickly got airborne.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a foul. I think he thought the young man from Evansville reached, didn't get the call, didn't get a shot at the rim. Evansville's doing a good job, again, as we spoke earlier, Paul. First shot defense outstanding, keep Kentucky off the glass, and they would have a lead.
And John Calipari didn't have to wait too many possessions to bring back on Ashton Hagans.
Again, half court, they're going to make them work. Good play right there, pick, pop. That's your 4-man stretching it out to the 3, a little short. It's going to be a travel, didn't establish a pivot foot off the catch.
That's the 3rd turnover already for the University of Kentucky Wildcats.
I know you were in the midst of planes, trains, and automobiles to get here. What a travel day for you. But Evansville in the shoot-around were working exclusively off transition D. They may only send 1 to the offensive glass. They're very concerned about getting back.
Stolen by Hagans, takes it right at Kuhlman, rides it up. Sestina there for the follow and can't get it to fall. Williams forcing things a little bit. Nice pass, but blocked by Sestina.
This is the pace that Kentucky wants. Watch this young man on the open floor. Just can't finish. UK's having a hard time at the basket early.
Well, this is a track meeting. In spite of the icy roads outside, these guys are getting up and down and not leaving any skid marks.
No, this young man is a 2-time transfer. Mr. Cunliffe started at Kansas, went to Arizona State. Now he finds himself in Evansville, Indiana. Welcome to Rupp Arena.
That's going to be an illegal screen. And Kentucky's starting to have some foul trouble, particularly with their bigs.
Great defensive rebound, and as we talked about, if they have an opportunity in the open floor, Paul, they're going to take it and go. Great early offense, great push for Evansville. Good start.
Sam Cunliffe wearing number 20 in purple, 6'6" redshirt junior out of Seattle, Washington. Started at Arizona State, then a season at Kansas. And in their win over Ball State, that is Evansville's win, at 17 points and made 3 or 4 3-pointers. First personal foul on Sestina. And both teams with 4 team fouls. Nice take and an offensive rebound grab by Givens. Kick outside, and that comes up well short.
It's going to be a handful to stay in front of. He's lower to the ground. He gets that thing to the basket. The problem is when he gets there, there's a lot of size for Kentucky at the rim.
Richards is back on, playing with a couple of personal fouls. And just on the floor now, Johnny Juzong, the 6'6" freshman out of Los Angeles, stretches the defense a little bit with a three.
Great pass by Nick Richards. Again, his continued evolvement as a player. Catches, looks opposite, finds Juzang, who knocks down his first shot as a Kentucky Wildcat.
Brooks gives it up, looks to get it back off the glass, and the smallest man on the floor at 5'10", Givens comes up with it wearing number 5.
Smart look to push, you don't have it, pull it back. Now run your offense. Set up with curls and back cuts. A lot of player movement, a lot of ball movement out of Walter McCarty's group.
KJ O'Reilly stepping back, that off the side of the iron and not close from three-point range. But Evansville, if you're Walter McCarty, you got to like the looks you're getting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure he liked that look.
Or the result of it.
Anyway. When you pick it up off the floor and then you say, hey, it feels like leather, I'm going to shoot it. But other than that, great start by Evansville.
Who is Evansville? You can see when they were established, obviously, their moniker tells you exactly where they are. They were picked to finish 7th in the Missouri Valley Conference, and they have been to 5 NCAA tournaments, but the last one not in this century, in 1999. And we were talking about before the game, when you talked about Evansville and mid-major, they were synonymous in the 80s and 90s. This was really a solid program.
No question. Great fan base. We're talking two great states here that love college basketball, and in Kentucky and Indiana. Evansville, a very storied program, and had a lot of success. It's been a while since they've been back to the tournament. I think they got the guy that can get them there. I'm a big Walter McCarty fan. Terrific player, terrific guy. He has paid his dues, worked and played under some outstanding head coaches. The local native, I know, wants nothing more than to get Evansville back to where they belong to be.
And he's taken an aggressive approach. He's not going out and looking to get, sort of hidden gems and build them up, if you will, over a 3 or 4 year career, as a lot of mid-majors do. He went out, found some transfers. We talked about Cunliffe. DeAndre Williams wasn't eligible last year. They're going to have a big impact on this team this season.
Well, if you plan the whole 4 or 5 year plan, those days are over. You heard of a thing called Twitter? Hey, now you better get it done quick, or they're going to show you the exit.
A 5-year plan?
Homeboy or not.
Yeah. 2 fouls now on Higgins, and remember early, Nick Richards also picked up a couple of personals.
4 out, just trying to give this young man some driving angles. They've done a pretty good job on him initially. Good look there.
Cunliffe again buries the 3, so gets out on the break and shows his hops, and then what a nice stroke from long range.
He was a top 100 guy coming out. I mean, he is not afraid of the bright lights, and as you said earlier, his road to get to this stage has been almost as much as yours to get to this gym.
Quickly answers at the other end, wearing number 5 in white.
It's a good looking shot by him. I loved his shot preparation. Great ball reversal, got quickly a clean look. And as Cal said, he'd been shooting it so well in the preseason. It'd be nice for him to get going and give Kentucky another big offensive option.
Welcome back to Rupp Arena once again, and a good one. Evansville and Kentucky and the Wildcats in a little bit of foul trouble. And it was a special occasion here at Rupp Arena because one of their best was coming back. Walter McCarty in his 2nd season as head coach in his hometown of the University of Evansville. And it was all the way back in 1996 when Kentucky beat Syracuse 76-67 for the national championship. Walter McCarty didn't exactly have his best basketball game. We could probably have a little fun with him about that, but Ron Mercer, Tony Delk, Anthony Epps, Antoine Walker, and a national championship for that man right there, and obviously has done a very nice job preparing his Evansville team to come in and play at his old stomping grounds in Rupp Arena. Back with Ole Miss head coach Andy Kennedy. I'm Paul Sunderland. Evansville coming in, if you're just joining us, a win over Ball State 79-75. They were 9 of 19 from 3-point range, so they've shown a little of that shooting ability so far here on the evening. Your thoughts on the foul trouble for Kentucky?
Well, that and the turnovers have been problematic for Cal. They've been a little loose with the ball. Offensive rebounds have kept them in it early. But I think, with 2 fouls on Nick Richards, Cal's not going to sit him, you know, especially when you have a junior. You've got to trust him to play through this. Another learning opportunity. Put him back in the game. You know, Kentucky's just got to get some stops to get out in the open floor, and then when Evansville has them in the half court, you've just got to execute, and that's part of the growth of an early season.
So far through a couple of games, Kentucky's averaging just 14 turnovers. Williams, head fake, gets down inside, and boy, DeAndre Williams, 6'9" out of Houston, Texas, 26-9 against Ball State. That was no aberration. He is solid.
You know what? Walter McCarty is really, really high on that young man. Has the ability to make plays. They obviously feel good about the matchup, and they're going to him. And the kid has delivered.
Whitney, step back jumper, and he answers at the other end with a 3 for Kentucky.
Hard shot right there. Not really in rhythm. Raises up, makes a play. Another one of their talented freshmen. You can tell though, Paul, Evansville, you know, made a couple of shots early. Now they're playing with some confidence, man. That's what you like to see. Come in and take advantage of this outstanding opportunity. Oh.
Well, he's played at Arizona State.
That's a real shot right there.
He's played at Kansas, and now he's got a quick run out now with 8 points for Sam Cunliffe.
I'm not from Missouri, but I do have a show me mentality, and that young man is showing me with a hard pull-up. These are 2 difficult shots. First, no rhythm whatsoever. Just says, okay, I'll just raise up, shoot it in. And then Cunliffe, boy, what a start he's had from the dunk to back-to-back threes, rising up from about 22.
Better be. That's where the line is these days.
I'll tell you, impressive start by him. Evansville showing you a little bit of a matchup out of that timeout. Or out of that out-of-bounds play, excuse me.
Game clock inside of 10 minutes. Shot clock now inside of 6. Whitney baseline takes it up, and that's going to be a blocking foul. Kuhlman certainly inside the restricted area, and it'll be a couple of free throws coming to Kentucky.
Evansville doing a good job of not giving Kentucky anything free. Contesting, switch that high ball screen at the end of the clock. Whitney's an outstanding talent. I think he's a tremendous defender. I was blown away from doing their game on Friday of watching how he can close out and guard the ball as a freshman. This is the area that he's got to continue to work on. He's got to get those reps and feel good shooting the ball.
Yeah, does not look comfortable at the free throw line now. Just 2 of 6 so far on the season for the 6'6", 210-pound freshman out of Chicago, Illinois, ranked the number 11 overall recruit. 11th season for John Calipari. This is the first time he has not had a number 1 or number 2 recruiting class. He was all the way
for 3. Settled at 3.
Memphis was number 1. Duke was number 2.
Another outstanding group of guys, man. And I think he's got a good collection. Obviously missing E.J. Montgomery, and as we talked about in the open, they're a little thin up front. That's going to be challenged even further tonight with the foul trouble of Nick Richards.
Sistine has been very, very good so far through 2 games for the Wildcats. Pretty quiet, and nobody being any louder than Sam Cunliffe right now. In double figures with 10. Crowd getting a little antsy, and Evansville's on top 20-16.
You know what I like, Paul? I like the way in which he is approaching the game. Not overly excited, not patting himself on the back, going about his business. That's a mature guy who's been down the road.
Quickly trying to answer at the other end. Ball deflected out of bounds, and it'll go to the Purple Aces.
Cunliffe has really shown us a little bit of everything, hasn't he, Paul? Dunk in the open floor, couple of threes. Look at this move. Give it to me in the box. I'm going to play mid-post. I'm going to face you. I'm going to go by you, and I'm going to play over the top. A little Dan Marley in his game right there. Big guard.
That's a great call. Dan Marley in Phoenix or Dan Marley in Miami?
Well, Dan Marley in Miami. I think Dan Marley in Phoenix was a little more catch and shoot.
Oh, back cut, and it was there. Artur Levinovich, 6'4", redshirt junior, out of Charlotte, wearing number 2 in purple. Had a basket if the pass was a little bit better. Brooks Jr., pull-up jumper not there. Is Kentucky settling a little bit right now?
Definitely right there. That was a difficult shot. One bounce into a contested 15-footer. Get the ball reversed, settle down a little bit. Again, they're a different team, in my opinion, when Ashton Hagans is not at the point. he seems to get them into stuff a little more easily, and that's to be expected because the other young man, this is his third game in college basketball.
Early going behind his back in traffic, loses the handle. Shot clock at 5. Williams sets his feet for 3, that off the back of the iron. Good defense by Kentucky.
Can't settle, you got to get penetration. Out of control. Doug Show's a veteran, is not going to bail him out right there. He was looking for contact. Not going to fool that veteran. Good penetration and pitch. Tough runner.
Yeah, didn't even draw iron. But once again, Evansville is getting into the lane, and that's another turnover. That's 7, make it 8 turnovers now for Kentucky. We'll step aside here in Lexington. John Calipari cannot be happy with the way his Wildcats are playing so far. All right, thank you, Dari, and we've got a great football triple header this Saturday here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. It all kicks off at noon with number 5 Alabama and Mississippi State coverage exclusively shot with the Skycam hovering above the field. Then at 3:30, Kentucky meets Vanderbilt. Finally at 7:30 at South Carolina at Texas A&M in the SEC Saturday nightcap. Will you be captaining the Skycam at midfield on that game? I know you've been busy.
Do they pay the rate?
They do.
They pay the rate. I'll do it.
And you get a helmet.
I've captained worse. I promise you that. You've seen some of my teams.
7:31 remaining. Kentucky with 8 turnovers. Evansville is out of fouls, but Kentucky has not had an opportunity to take advantage.
Paul, I always like to see out of a timeout. This is an opportunity for Coach McCarty to get what he wants. Looks like what he wants is number 20 to make a play. You see everything turns into 5 out. Trying to penetrate, get a little penetration so that you can get some help. Wow, what a move.
Just a blow by after a couple of nice crossover dribbles. And Cunliffe is just going for it here at Rupp Arena.
He's been the best player on the floor by far, and it doesn't look like it's a surprise to him, which is really all that matters. He hasn't changed his expression whatsoever. Impressive. Let's see if Nate Sestina can answer on this end.
That's going to be an offensive foul. So Cunliffe doing, yeah, exactly right. Cunliffe doing it on both ends. So Richards has got 2 fouls. Higgins has got 2 fouls, and now Sestina's got a couple of fouls.
That's an impressive move, man. Change direction, straight line drive, and then right there, bait the big fella. He's outweighed by probably 30 pounds. Bait him into lowering that shoulder. Great job by Sam Cunliffe.
Give Evansville some credit. We've talked about Kentucky's defense, and rightfully so, but Kentucky now just 5 of 17 from the floor.
They found their recipe, run an early set, and then everything goes 5 out based off penetration and ball movement.
That was straight as an arrow right in front of us, and once again the shot clock this year with a new rule change will only reset to 20. 6:20 remaining in the half. Rabinovitz taking it up at the rim, gets his own rebound, back up in traffic, and lays it in. And look at this, Evansville on top now by 8, 24-16. And John Calipari has seen enough from his Wildcats and calls a timeout.
Yeah, Cal's a little frustrated with their inability to guard Sam Cunliffe. He's been by far the best player on the floor, and he's showing you in a plethora of ways. It started here. Good way to start the game. Run the floor, get a dunk. Good penetration, swing, bang. Then he says, hey, I'll just do it myself. Pull up from about 24. Then I'll put the freshman in the hole from the box, and then I'm going to just drive right by the 5th-year guy. He is a nightmare as it relates to his matchup. If you put big on him, he goes by you. If you put smaller on him, he's gone inside. He has shown you the whole package.
Well, so what does Coach Cal do to slow down Cunliffe? Maybe that's one thing he can do is get him over on the bench.
Well, that would be helpful. I guarantee you Walt is probably trying to get him a break, maybe through the 4 media, let him regroup a little bit. Anxious to see what Cal goes to here out of a timeout. They need a bucket. It's been a minute since they've scored. And there's their bucket maker.
Maxey pull-up jump shot, offensive rebound taken by Brooks Jr. right at the front of the rim, not there. That ball tipped out of bounds. should be Evansville's basketball. The officials are going to talk that one over, and it will indeed be the Purple Aces ball.
Cal was talking after Michigan State, despite the win, despite doing a terrific job of knocking off number one, that they missed 14 shots at point-blank range. Now, they haven't missed 14 to this point, but they're in a pace to be at about 20. They've missed about 5 or 6 shots right at the rim, shots that they got to calm down and make.
Well, you look at the resume for Evansville last year, different team, 11-21, 5-13 in the Missouri Valley. They were picked 7th coming in before the preseason. Williams sets his feet, awkward looking three-pointer off the back of the iron. Step back jumper by Whitney, and I asked you it before, but I'll ask again. Is Kentucky settling too much now on the perimeter side of the game?
Well, that's a quick shot for a guy that's not noted as a shooter. Here's where they've got to make hay right here in the open floor. Good penetrating pitch, but Evansville is doing an outstanding job of following the scouting report and getting 4 guys back to stop that initial push.
Kentucky now just 5 of 19, and they've missed their last 5 field goal attempts. Maxey around the corner, takes it to the rim, counts if it goes, and he'll get to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
Interesting, Paul, that Cal went back with Nick Richards. Despite the 2 fouls, felt like he needed a presence at the basket on both ends. He went back to the guy, trusting him. He's a junior. He's got to trust his upperclassmen to not pick up his 3rd foul in this first half. First time Maxey's had a open lane to the basket. He's got to cash these 2 in.
And speaking of fouls, DeAndre Williams, the leading scorer so far for Evansville, picked up his 2nd personal foul.
It'll be interesting. I would be surprised if Walter didn't take him out and rest him through the 4 to clear his head, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. You obviously, I think they came in as a 25, 26-point underdog. You're certainly not going to play passively with an opportunity, but you're rolling the dice a bit if that young man picks up his 3rd right now.
2nd free throw is good, and as we thought, number 20, Sam Cunliffe, just a very, very brief blow on the sideline for head coach Walter McCarty, and right back on the floor now with a dozen leading the way for the Purple Aces of Evansville.
Big last 4 minutes. I know I'm Captain Obvious with that statement, but Kentucky needs to try to get some stops and get out and generate some offense, or they're going to have to repaint the interior of the locker room because Cal's heat is going to melt the paint off the wall if they don't do something. Good start.
Step through right at the rim. And this might be a chance for a 3-point play. Keon Brooks Jr. taking it hard.
What an impressive play here. First of all, Quigley getting it going, making the right decision. That is a very athletic play. A step through to a jump stop dunk. Not something I've done lately. You, Paul?
It's been a few weeks. I still have that 7-foot basket in my backyard.
I don't know what the stoppage was because obviously it wasn't a foul. Maybe Owen Short was going to check his hair. I don't know. He's got nice hair.
Cunliffe turned it over.
Center the ball.
Whitney takes it hard, and now attacking the paint.
That's his
paying
game.
off with free throws.
That's his game. This is a young man that's taken a couple of ill-advised from 3. That is his game. Get that thing to the rim. Cunliffe playing with the ball a little bit, just loses it. Did a good job of centering the ball and attacking the basket. Now he's back to a place where he's not very comfortable. Needs to relax. Long year. Knock these down.
Nice looking stroke.
Better. I always watch head placement. Where your head is where your weight is. His head seems a little bit back. Could be that hair. Maybe I'm just envious. But his head seems back, and if his head's back, his body weight's going to be back.
Made them both there after starting the season 2 of 6 in Kentucky. Now on a 6-0 run to get back within 2.
They're going to fight you for every catch. That's what Kentucky does. Elite defensively. Tyrese Maxey got away with one there.
Yeah,
I thought they could have called him for a reach, but fortunate inline OB. Good run by Kentucky to get back in this thing.
That's right, the Celtic McCarty. See you guys.
The shooter.
Yeah, you
Wonder
love
where
that.
he grew up. He grew up in Lexington.
I don't think so.
McCarty.
And speaking of busy around the SEC, let's take a look at the preseason poll. Kentucky was picked to win, followed by Florida, a big transfer there. LSU, the defending regular season champs, Auburn to the Final Four. What about a team like Tennessee? Maybe more for Rick Barnes to have to replace than anybody else. He had a veteran lineup. He lost the Player of the Year.
I want to tell you this, though. I'm always going to bet on the guy who's a first ballot Hall of Famer, which Rick Barnes most certainly is. I think he's 6 wins away from 700 now, despite losing Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams, the 2-time Player of the Year, and Jordan Bone, who also made an NBA team. He is returning the most experienced backcourt in the conference in Lamonte Turner and Jordan Bowden. He brought in a McDonald's All-American. And Rick Barnes is going to be just fine. I think he's got an opportunity to have another outstanding team. Only 10 on the shot clock. I'm sure Evansville is aware it's right out of a timeout, but a big offensive possession here to stem the tide a bit.
I don't think they know the clock.
I don't think they know either.
Riley gets a look at it here. What you don't know won't hurt you as he throws in a 3-pointer off the glass. Evansville back up by 5. Their largest lead was 8 at 24-16.
He says if you don't know, now you know. It's sometimes better to be lucky than good.
Evansville with their 4th 3-point make, and Cunliffe, who's been the best player on the floor here at Rupp Arena, takes the
my
wow,
goodness.
heat check.
Oh my, he is channeling his inner Dan Marley. Wow, that was deep off the pull-up.
Riley down the lane,
I like the
on the
aggression
perimeter.
there.
Yeah,
I
very,
like that
very
aggression.
hard going to the rim.
The best time to get an open look is off that offensive glass. Great job of attacking by the senior. End of clock. Those hurt you a little bit.
Tyrese Maxey picked up his first personal foul as Riley will go to the free throw line. 14 points in the win over Ball State, 79-75. Out of Bronx, New York. And this young man, you talked about how aggressive he was. He shot 244 free throws last year. That's over 8 per game and pretty efficient at 72%. He works hard to get to the line.
I think certain guys have a knack for being fouled, and it looks like just the way in which he carries himself and his body, the way he can contort his body in traffic along with being 6'5" and a good wingspan. He's built to score. What do they say? Those inner city guys know how to get to the line because the wind factor. He's so young. Back in our day, Paul used to play outside every once in a while. They don't play outside much anymore, but he's got a game that's going to allow him to continue to get to that line.
Maxey off the window, not close. Rebound taken by Evansville.
Tough possession there. Maxey dribbles down, the only one to touch it. Goes with a left-handed floater. There's Cunliffe.
Cunliffe was cooled off a little bit. Boy, he had to. He was just doing everything perfectly, either inside or outside. Inside of 2:40 remaining in the opening half. Kentucky at 2-0, wins over Michigan State and Eastern Kentucky. Evansville, we talked about, has just played once.
I'd like to see quickly continue to go. No one is stopping that penetration. Just like that. Get to the lane.
That was pretty well defended, and he was still able to finish that, Andy.
Well, sometimes you give up on a play too quickly. Keep going, drive through contact. That's what he did right there. Got a good look at about 4 feet. Sam Cunliffe believes that he's the best player in the gym, and he is taking whoever is guarding him. It was Sestina once. Now he's got the freshman Khalil Whitney on him, and he's just putting his head down and getting it to the rim.
Yeah, showing a lot of confidence, and that was the first personal foul on Whitney. Remember that Higgins, along with Richards for Kentucky, are playing with a couple personal fouls. As Cunliffe will go to the free throw line and look to add to his total. He now leads all scorers with 13, and Walter McCarty, his return to Rupp Arena, at least through the first 17 minutes and 51 seconds, could not have gone any better as Cunliffe mixes the second.
And you know what Cunliffe's hot start allows Coach McCarty to do? It allows him with 2 fouls, as we talked about, to sit DeAndre Williams for the half. Don't risk picking up number 3. You can do that when Cunliffe is on such a tear, because that's where your offense is coming from.
That is a great call, Andy, because Williams was looking to be very aggressive, got those early fouls. Here,
Oh, Cunliffe again. That time through and over Maxey.
Let me tell you something. Into this game, Coach Cal may want him to transfer a fourth time. He has been the best player on the floor. Good answer right there by the freshman Brooks. But Sam Cunliffe, welcome to Rupp Arena. It's about a 3-possession half now. If you're Big Blue, you need to really sit down and try to get stops.
Shot clock at 7.
That's what you need right here. Now you're going to have an open floor opportunity. Evansville doing a great job. They say Tyrese Maxey initiated the contact. He had a better view than us. Tough call to go against you at home.
Boy, this was full speed ahead. And Evansville's defender getting back quickly. That's Jawan Newton.
Caught a break right there. If you're Evansville, you have got to be happy with that call. I'm sure Cal is not. Tyrese Maxey did the right thing. Euroed through him. The young man from Evansville with great effort. I'm not sure he was in a legal guarding position. Good break for the Aces.
Want to remind everybody, coming up at 9 Eastern following our game here on the SEC Network, we'll get you out to Thompson Bowling Arena. We were just talking about Rick Barnes and Tennessee just a few moments ago. Well, that game will be in Knoxville, where Murray State will take on the Volunteers. You can also watch the game on the ESPN app. Back with Andy Kennedy, the winningest coach in the history of Ole Miss basketball. Paul Sunderland. And a coach's life, even if you signed a new 10-year contract, the richest contract in the history of the sport of basketball, it can still be very, very stressful and a lot of hard work. Your team in Kentucky has been outplayed so far.
Yeah, they've certainly been out executed. You know, both teams are playing hard, and I think I was at both shoot-arounds. They're both sticking to the game plan. Evansville's just done a much better job of executing, most especially as it relates to putting the ball in the basket, which I've heard is kind of important in this game.
Frederick King, three-pointer that rims in and out. The rebound taken easily by Emmanuel Quickly.
Let's see if Kentucky will get a 2-for-1. They've got an opportunity. I'm not sure they're aware. Now they've blown the opportunity. Good White, good drive. I like it. Catch White, get it to the rim. Efficient move by Emmanuel Quickly.
Second personal foul
Double
on
bonus.
Shamir Givens, so it'll be the double bonus. 2 free throws. Only 27.8 seconds remaining.
Quickly at the line for 2.
I give credit to Evansville. Great scouting report, game plan by Coach McCarty and the staff. And they have executed. You know, they were running more sets early. Now it seems like a little fake motion into 5 out. Dry. They know Kentucky is going to be overly supportive as it relates to help D. Pitch to shooters.
Both free throws up and good. Quickly now with 9, and the early foul trouble with Nick Richards, and then Nate Sestina never got himself established in this basketball game so far in the post.
Big possession here for Big Blue. They're trying to get out and get a stop. If you're fortunate, maybe Evansville will shoot it early where you'll have an opportunity in the open floor. You can see up. You don't want to do that.
That is a bad foul out near midcourt. Keon Brooks picks up his first personal, and Coach Cal can't believe it.
I don't know if Cal told him to go do that or Keon Brooks just took it upon himself to run at the ball. It appears he certainly didn't want him to foul him. He was just trying to get the ball out of the senior's hands. Evansville early's done a good job at the free throw line as well.
Not getting there very often, but they've made 4 out of 5. Riley gets there, as we talked about, an awful lot, and is good for both of those. 12.3 seconds remaining in the opening half.
Plenty of time at 12.3. Come down, run an action, get it to your playmaker's hands, and he's got it right now. I'd be surprised if he gives it up.
See, attack of the basket. Boy, that was really quick.
And about the easiest basket of the first half for Kentucky. A really good first 20 minutes for the visitors from Evansville, taking on the #1 team in the nation. And how about Sam Cunliffe? Started at Arizona State, then to Kansas, now in Evansville, goes for 15 points in the first half against the University of Kentucky. At the break, Evansville, the Purple Aces, playing like 5 aces, up 34-30 over Kentucky. Now let's go to the studio with Dari Noka and Pat Bradley for the halftime report.
College basketball coming your way once again on the SEC Network from Rupp Arena. And the Evansville Purple Aces playing the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats, the first ever meeting between these two teams, and Evansville on top 34-30. Back with Andy Kennedy, I'm Paul Sunderland. Your thoughts on a very, must be surprising first half?
Great start for Evansville. Walter McCarty's got to be proud that the guys followed the script and made plays. Sam Cunliffe's been the story of the first half without question. And then Kentucky awfully loose with the ball. Sam Cunliffe, though, if we've talked about the entire first half, best player on the floor. Started out in transition, got a pitch to the wing to knock down a 3. He is driving his matchup. He's gone inside, he's gone outside. He's really shown us the whole package. And then Kentucky, 11 first half turnovers for a group that only averages 14 for the game. That coupled with early foul trouble to Nick Richards and Nate Sestina, all of a sudden, you've got a ball game.
Nick Richards coming off a double-double, only had 2 free throws in the first 20 minutes. So look at the field goals. Evansville outplayed Kentucky through the first 20 minutes. It was the Kentucky free throw shooting, 10 of 12 from the line, that kept them in it. And they really buckled down defensively over the last 4 or 5 possessions. And we're underway once again. Kentucky comes in as the new #1 team in the nation, the 7th time under head coach John Calipari that a Wildcats team of his has risen to #1 in the country. Nice 2-man game, kick to the corner, opening 3-pointer is good by Frederking.
Great extra pass, spotting up. That's just a well-prepared team. They knew where their teammates were going to be, and that is a great way to start the half. If you're Evansville, settle down, let them know we're not going anywhere.
And all the kids along the Evansville bench gave Walter McCarty high five because he set that play.
That's right.
In the locker room coming out. Richards turns and still coming up empty offensively, struggles, gets the offensive rebound. And that's going to be a foul called against Evansville.
As you talked about, Paul, you have the entire half to set up. You know you've got the ball. You get a little ball screen and roll to your best player. Unselfish, kicks it out. And he's a guy, had foul trouble himself. And DeAndre Williams has only shot the ball 4 times, coming off 27. Unselfish, made the extra pass, and they paid it off with a corner 3.
Higgins looking to answer with a 3. Long rebound, no. Frederking with another long rebound. And speaking of DeAndre Williams at the free throw line, wearing number 13, he now has 3 personal fouls. So that's a big one against Evansville inside of a minute gone in the second half.
No, you got to be really smart. I would think Walter would play him a little bit, sitting, just kind of be particular with his minutes. Kentucky in the open floor. Sestina, who has really been non-existent to this point in the game because of early foul trouble, is going to get a chance at the charity stripe.
Nate Sestina played 11.5 minutes in the opening half, just 1 of 3 from the floor, and that's the 3rd personal foul on KJ Riley. So some key players for Evansville starting to get in some trouble very early in the second half in terms of fouls.
That's something that you would have a hard time, even though Kentucky has got their own issues with E.J. Montgomery not being available tonight. They've certainly got depth issues as it relates to their front line, and we saw that in the first half of the foul trouble.
Sestina's been a pretty good free throw shooter at 71%. There you see E.J. Montgomery missing his 2nd straight game, injured his ankle in that big win over then #1 Michigan State in New York, and is listed as day-to-day by the staff working under John Calipari. Both free throws up and good. Interesting about Sestina, he dropped 25 pounds from summer until the start of the college basketball season. He, along with the strength and conditioning staff here at Kentucky, have really put together a fine-looking athlete.
Looks like Evansville's going to play late in the clock here. This young man's got an opportunity to bounce it by you as well. Opts for the 3, ill-advised, which is going to lead to a fast break opportunity for Kentucky. Good call. Indecisive, was about to push the pass forward to Nate Sestina. Sestina goes with a back cut. Emmanuel quickly with a travel.
Turnovers a huge story for Kentucky in the first half, as you mentioned. 11 turnovers. They averaged 14 through the first couple of contests. That's already a dozen. Williams working on Sestina. Some contact inside. Good tough defense, and coming quickly out of the backcourt is Tyrese Maxey.
The ball reversed. Ball's got to change sides of the floor more for Kentucky. Great penetrating pitch, but again, they're not on the same page as he was going to pitch to Ashton Hagans. Hagans was cutting to the basket. Turnover number 13.
A.J. Riley getting to the rim, lays it up and in. Okay, Kentucky's turning it over, but can Evansville start to take advantage and put some more points off turnovers on the board as their lead is back up to 7?
Well, I love their game plan. When they get an opportunity in the open floor, whether it be at the basket or from 3, they're taking it, and if not, they're milking the clock and trying to do something at the end of the clock. That's exactly what you've got to do if you're Evansville to have a chance against Kentucky, and they're executing perfectly.
Hagans, long way without taking a dribble, and a nice putback that time by Nick Richards.
Again, we talked about it in the first half, Paul, but I think Kentucky has probably missed 7 or 8 shots at point-blank range right there. Nick Richards with the good hustle in the follow-up, but Ashton Hagans has got to cash in the first one.
Kentucky only shot 35%, 9 of 26 in the opening half. A lot of those, as you mentioned, Andy, right at the front of the rim. They were 2 for 7 from three-point range. Shot clock at 7.
They're going to their best player, coming off 27. Last time he settled, this time he settles.
Off the front of the iron, same result. Rebound taken by Kentucky. Quickly, just like that at the other end, answers with a 3.
It woke up the Rupp faithful. Good initial push, good rhythm shot from what many consider the best shooter on Kentucky's team.
Quickly now leading the way for scores with Kentucky with a dozen. Foul is going to be called on Maxey. Let's look back.
Great drive and drift, extra pass. Ashton Hagans misses the bunny, but Nick Richards very active on the offensive glass. And then there, great rhythm, left, right, shoot it in. Good sign for UK. I'll tell you what's not a good sign. Guess who just got back?
Number 20 in purple, Sam Cunliffe. We talked about it. Best player on the floor here at Rupp Arena for either team through the first 20 minutes. Led the way with 15 points, and he scored it just about every different way you'd want a player to.
And you've noticed, Paul, at the end of clock, DeAndre Williams is not nearly as comfortable off the bounce as Cunliffe is. I'm sure he'll have that ball at the end of the clock. Ill-advised shot there by Evansville.
Walter McCarty in his second year as head coach for Evansville, a native of that Indiana city. Grew up there before coming to Lexington, had a magnificent career here and on to the NBA for 10 years. Began his coaching career, kind of surprising, Louisville, if you will, for who else? Rick Pitino, who was his mentor when he won that championship in '96, and then the last several years in the NBA.
I like the action. Pinch post. Throw to Sestina for the handoff. Maxey did not finish through contact, which is really his forte. He was excellent against Michigan State in those mid-range floaters. Comes up short that time.
Levinovich stepping inside, not called, no call there, and Kentucky will quickly come the other way. Richards looking for the lob.
Got to move the ball. Ball's got to change sides of the floor, especially in transition. Tough shot.
Very tough shot. Richards cannot control the rebound. And Williams gets a lucky bounce and knows what to do with it.
Those 50-50 balls are huge. 2 Kentucky Wildcats converge. DeAndre Williams not only secures it, but finishes with the dunk.
Coach Calipari calling out a set for his Wildcats.
Evansville's been really good on first shot D in the half court. Really good. Kentucky looks a little confused. They have not, again, it's early in the season. They have not established offensive identity in the half court, and that is showing tonight.
Kentucky just 3 of 10 from three-point range so far. They have not been a good three-point shooting team. through the first 2.5 games.
Tough
Just 8
shot.
of 24. And coming at the other end, John Hall, the 6'7" junior, buries that long-range jumper.
That's what he does, and that was a difficult shot. Well defended, good challenge on the shot, knocks it down.
Said that's what Hall does, a 36% shooter from outside the arc last year. Maxey spins it up and in.
Love that drive. Powerful player. One bounce, get to your spot. This young man's got to exert his will on this game, and he needs to do it now.
Cunliffe loses the handle momentarily and is going to get called. Could have been either a travel or a backcourt violation. Teams will head to the sideline. Evansville clinging to the 44-39 lead.
Penetrate, pitch, difficult shot. Bang, it's been that kind of night for the Purple Aces. Tyrese Maxey, strong finish.
Some concerned Kentucky fans, no doubt about it. Evansville, the Purple Aces, led by 4 at the half. They lead at 44-39. And Andy, an awful lot at stake. I mean, Coach Calipari and his Wildcats through the years have put together some tremendous performances. Look at that, 52 straight wins at home versus non-conference unranked opponents.
Yeah, Evansville has been the aggressor. They got their footing early, got some confidence, and they're just playing ball. You know, sometimes it's great to be in a position where you got everything to gain and nothing to lose, and that is certainly the case with Evansville. Kentucky in an unfamiliar situation based on those numbers, especially in the non-league versus non-ranked opponents. Got a young group, growing opportunity, learning opportunity, plenty of game to play, and I'm sure Kentucky will respond in kind.
Quickly leading the way so far for Kentucky with 12 points. Whitney with 5. Richards has been quiet, mostly because of foul trouble with 4. Maxey with 6. Sestina with 5 as well. Higgins 0 for 5 from the floor, has yet to score. And as we've talked about throughout the course of the game, Sam Cunliffe leading the way with 15 points for the visitors from Evansville.
Well, Evansville's up, Paul, because they've doubled them up from 3. They've made 6 to Kentucky's 3. And Kentucky's got 13 turnovers. We talked about it in the last break, that the fact that Kentucky only averages 14 a game and they're sitting on 13 with over 13 minutes of play. Just super loose with the ball, and Evansville's taking advantage of it.
Evansville 6 more field goal attempts because of those turnovers.
Looks like they're going to go through the big guy. Let's see if he can throw that hook. I like the action. Good set out of a timeout. Got him a good look. Just a little short. Now what will Evansville do? They're going to milk it to the end of the clock unless that guy's getting an open look. No, don't do that. He's the one that Hall knocks down a 3, and I thought he had another opportunity to take one.
Maxey on the step through gets knocked to the floor here at Rupp Arena and will go to the line to shoot a pair.
I'm sure Walter would have liked for him to have shot that coming off, made the 3. Looks like he was dribbling a football. Got away from him a little bit. And Maxey has got an uncanny ability to find his way to the basket. Back to the free throw line.
Through a couple of games in the early non-conference, Tyrese Maxey on the strength of that 26-point performance against Michigan State, averaging 18 points, 4 rebounds, shooting it exceptionally well from the free throw line. It was 14 of 15 coming in from Garland, Texas, 6'3", just under 200 pounds, the number 10 overall ranked recruit. He was Texas Mr. Basketball before matriculating to Lexington, Kentucky.
Back to a 1-possession game. Mr. Cunliffe has been awfully quiet since he's gotten back in the game.
They're paying him just a little bit more attention.
You know, and he's still got the same matchup. Great drive. They are attacking Sestina off the dribble. They're awfully small now. They are sitting DeAndre Williams with the 3 fouls, and they are just attacking whoever the biggest player is for Kentucky.
Maxey answers at the other end after Artur Levinovitz, the transfer from Coastal Carolina, who didn't play last year, scored for Evansville. Maxey now in double figures with 10. Backdoor cut.
Big back cut pass was a little behind him. I'm not sure his teammate even saw it coming.
Maxey feeling it.
7 straight, Paul. We asked him to wake up, and not only did he wake up, but I think he awoke the 20,000 in Rupp Arena. There he is.
Cunliffe tries to answer. Sestina all alone for the rebound. A chance for Kentucky to take the lead. And that would be going back to the very beginning of this game. That off the back of the iron rebound taken by Hall. Tied at 46, 11:45 remaining. Attack at the other end, not there by Givens.
Got to push. Cal wants you to push, and not going to get a push here. Calling a set. Again, Maxey had made the last 7 points. Looks like maybe quickly on a pin down. Now you got to get the ball reversed. You got to get the ball reversed so the defense has to shift sides of the floor. Sestina with a nice move, foul.
Good patience offensively by number 1, Nate Sestina. And when we come back, he'll be shooting a couple of free throws.
Great drive right here by a bucket getter. Good floater. And then what does that lead to? A confident pull-up from 3. Kentucky back in the game.
Time now for a fast break. What superpower would you want to have?
Super speed.
If you could have any exotic animal pet, what would it be?
Probably a cheetah.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Energetic, happy, and competitive.
That was a great fast break. You were phenomenal. Excellent work, my man.
Yes.
And Tyrese Maxey has been at his competitive best over the last 4 minutes or so when Kentucky really needed it against an upset-minded team from Evansville. Scored Kentucky's last 9 points and helping to lead the way for Kentucky to get back in this game after they trailed by 8 about midway through the first half. They trailed at 34-30 after the opening 20 minutes and have come back now to tie the game with 11:18 remaining. Back with Andy Kennedy, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us for college basketball on the SEC Network. And Nate Sestina, who's been averaging 10 points and 9 rebounds. Like his front court counterpart, Nick Richards, been very quiet so far on the evening.
I think if I could have a superpower, I would like the power of teleportation. You? That way there'd be no Atlanta airport. No. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you could
You're
avoid,
asking me that today?
Can you imagine if you could avoid airport security? Teleportation it is. Kentucky up 2.
Well, earlier you said what, boats, planes, and trains, and
Yeah,
you forgot about the
planes,
lift,
trains,
the
and
lift.
automobiles. Come
Yeah,
on,
the
man.
lift.
John Candy.
Yeah, the
Classic.
lift. Yeah, the lift, the Uber, and everything else. Now it's Evansville in need of a basket for the first time in a while. Williams loses the handle momentarily. Nice defense by Richards.
Great defense, and he didn't force it.
Good hockey assist out to Givens for the 3.
I agree. You know, DeAndre Williams, his handle's probably not as tight as it will be in time at Evansville, and he can't get separation to finish over Richards, but he's doing a good job of not forcing it, making the extra pass. The little man who struggled from finishing inside with a big 3.
Williams is taking a lot of chances. He's playing tough inside against Richards. Andy with 3 personal fouls.
I love it. You got to go for it, man. You cannot play scared and give Nick Richards a point-blank look. Challenged it, blocked it to give the momentum back to the Purple Aces.
McCarty orchestrating on the other side, and Levinovitz, a nice strong take in between a couple of Kentucky defenders.
They are really going at Nate Sestina off the dribble. Whoever's got it is trying to attack that matchup. Great pass by Ashton Higgins. It's time for him to make a showing. When's the last time we said his name?
It has been a while, as I pointed out a few moments ago. Higgins, who is a tremendous defender, wonderful point guard, and orchestrator for this Kentucky team, 0 for 5 from the floor, including a couple of misses from three-point range.
He had 3 turnovers early, then picked up a couple fouls. Cal sat him. He's got to get back in the game.
Turnovers have been a real problem for Kentucky. They have 13, but they have cleaned that up over the last 7 or 8 possessions, blocked inside, but it's going to be free throws coming to KJ Riley. Evansville with a 51-50 advantage and trying to add to that.
Right here again, going at Sestina, driving through contact, tough layup. And then Ashton Higgins, obviously there was a mistake there. Nick Richards wide open, had a matchup issue. Good vision by Higgins to find the open man.
Wonderful play by Kentucky, but that's one of the first defensive breakdowns by Evansville all night long.
And it was straight communication. They just were not matched up properly.
First free throw up and good for Riley. He talked about the fact that he really is good at
Gets
getting to the free throw line.
Not many of the other guys on his team have gotten there, but he has certainly cashed in. Got that New York game. Senior knows how to get fouled, and he is cashing in.
Now in double figures with 11 and a perfect 6 for 6 from the free throw line.
Evansville, give them credit. Sestina's free throws gave UK a lead. They've responded with baskets of their own. Back up 3, Evansville.
Trying to get Maxey a shot working baseline.
Great action.
Brooks Jr., Keon Brooks Jr., number 12 in white, that off the side of the iron.
Tyrese Maxey with great initial penetration, threw back to a wide open Keon Brooks from about 16 feet. Good action, just missed it.
Inside of 9 minutes remaining. If you're Kentucky, you're getting a little bit worried?
No, plenty of time. You got to get stops. They've been pretty good defensively. You got to rebound, first shot, and you got to try to get out in the open floor. That's where they have excelled. To Evansville's credit, they have not given them many opportunities.
Shot clock quickly down inside 10. Remember the rule change. Offensive rebound resets to 20, not 30. At the other end, Khalil Whitney taking that ball right at the defense. We haven't called his name very often tonight either. Number 2 in white. That is the 4th foul on John Hall.
Well, John Hall made a hard three. He's passed up a couple of threes. You know, sometimes you can be too unselfish and end up hurting your team. I thought he should have taken that three. They end up getting late in the clock. Leads to a turnover, which is going to get Khalil Whitney back to the free throw line with an opportunity to cut this to a 1-point game.
There's 2 of 4 so far from the free throw line.
Was heads forward that time. I did like that. We talked about that a little bit. Much better rhythm on that shot. You can tell again. Freshman, 3rd game of the year. A lot of nerves. Settle in. Keon Brooks, we saw it last trip with an open 16-footer. Now you go 1 for 2 at the free throw line. But UK's going to win this game on the defensive end, Paul. They've got to string together stops, and they've got to try to get out and make plays in the open floor.
Sestina back on. And they have done a good job corralling Cunliffe here in the second half after he went for 15 in the first. Kick ahead to Sestina. Lays it up and in.
Great look. Great look by Ashton Higgins. Great look.
Wonderful, wonderful pass over the top.
They are a different team when he's in the game playing with energy. And you see now, on-ball defense, a little pep in his step.
And
sense of urgency.
Cunliffe.
That's right, little sense of urgency now.
Nice 2-man game, 3-pointer not there. Chance for Kentucky to take the lead.
Cunliffe bailed him out. There was a little miscommunication on that ball screen. 2 stayed with the dribbler. Cunliffe with a clean look. Made him in the first half. Has been empty in this half.
Maxey not there. Long rebound comes out to Evansville looking to run. They don't have numbers.
I'm not crazy about that look, not because it was a bad shot, but because it was on the first side of the floor. You never turn the ball. If you don't turn the ball, you're always going to play against a strong side defense.
K.J. Riley out of the Bronx, New York, with a big 3-pointer for the Evansville Purple Aces. Good 2-man game. Evansville on top of Kentucky. Number 1 Kentucky, 56-53. It's time for our Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. And it's about the turnovers, particularly, Andy, in the first half. Kentucky 13 turnovers, 11 of those coming in the first 20.
Yeah, just things that are uncharacteristic. Not on the same page offensively at all. Those things are just inexcusable, because the game of basketball is a possessions game. When you're giving the opponent extra possessions, it'll catch up to you. Hence our score. You give Evansville some life, and as a result, they're up 3 with under 8 to play.
Again, Evansville led it 34-30 on the strength of really strong play from Sam Cunliffe. In the first half, he led them with 15 points. They led 44-39 at the first time out, and then Kentucky tied it at 53. Evansville with 7:12 remaining on top, 56-53. 2 team fouls for Kentucky, 5 team fouls for Evansville. Could be a factor, especially if Tyrese Maxey can get to the free throw line, where in the early season he has made 18 out of 19 free throws.
Out of a timeout, Cal will get the ball where he wants it. It looks like quickly they were trying to pound the post to Sestina. Good initial D, and the help is good. Not a lot of space in there, but he has a decisive size advantage. 8 on the clock.
Waiting on the double, almost a turnover. Got to go now. Quickly, number 5 takes it with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Long rebound cannot be saved by Kentucky, and we'll have to step aside. Evansville continues to lead it at Rupp Arena. Well, it's finally here. You can download the Disney Plus app right now and start streaming the best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic, all ad-free, and wherever and whenever you want. For more, go to DisneyPlus.com. What's at stake for the Kentucky Wildcats? Again, back to number 1 for the 7th time under Coach Calipari, now in his 11th year. 52 straight wins. We talked about that when Coach Cal is ranked number 1, 110-12.
Pretty impressive numbers, right?
Big numbers.
I mean,
some very big numbers.
You can stare at any one of those facts, and they're pretty amazing. Evansville's going to come in here and test them, playing with a lot of confidence, sticking to the game plan of Kentucky legend Walter McCarty.
Kentucky shooting it a little bit better in the second half. 8 of 19, 42% after struggling in the first.
They look out of sorts to me offensively. Give Evansville credit for crowding the lane, not giving them a lot of driving opportunities, but they have not yet established an offensive identity, which again is not surprising in game 3 of the season.
We talked about it in the first half with regard to foul trouble, but too much on the perimeter so far for Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't think the ball is moving nearly as fluidly as Cal would like. End the clock. Watch the drive.
Riley looking to draw a foul. Goes up left-handed off the front of the iron. Gave his team a chance for an offensive rebound.
And they're going to get rewarded.
They are. DeAndre Williams really hustling down in the low post.
You know, they switched that ball screen. They switched the ball screen at the end of the clock, which puts Nick Richards, who is DeAndre Williams' matchup, on the perimeter. So Maxey is now trying to block out a guy 5 inches taller. Gets called for the foul.
And Tyrese Maxey just picked up his 4th personal foul. Finish not there for Cunliffe. Ball batted around, and Evansville comes away with it.
Kentucky's fortunate there. He had a point-blank look. Good quick play, eye contact, missed the bunny, keeps it alive off the offensive glass. Evansville's turned the tables a little bit in this half with good work off their offensive board.
Williams has been patient here, working against Richards.
That's a difficult matchup for him.
I lost track of the shot clock, excuse me.
Nick Richards is very difficult to just take off the bounce because of his length and his ability to move his feet. That has not been a matchup that has been fortuitous for Evansville tonight.
You mentioned Nick Richards and his length, 6'11", but has a 7'5" wingspan. 5:47 left. Evansville on top, 56-53. They have led it throughout. We were tied at 53, but both teams have gone on a multiple minute scoring drought.
Half court set. Ashton Hagens at the rim.
Not there. Rebound is battled for, and the whistle is called, and K.J. Riley at 14 points in their win over Ball State comes away with a loose ball, and Ashton Hagens, he picks up his 3rd.
I think that's the next phase to his offensive game, Paul. He's strong, he's got good size, he's got an ability to get it at the rim, but he has to finish through contact. Is it easy? Of course not. But for this guy to be the player that he wants to be, and for UK, and for what UK needs him to be, he has got to finish those shots through contact in the paint.
Johnny Jujong wearing number 10 and white on the floor now, guarding Fredericking. Right to the rim, laying it up and in.
Guess what?
Strong take that time by Williams.
Right on Nate Sestina. Nick Richards out of the game. The leading scorer for Evansville goes right to the basket with a big shot.
Khalil Whitney wearing number 2 in white, also back on for Kentucky. And let's take a look at the possession arrow. Strong take once again by DeAndre Williams out of Houston.
Little dribble drive, almost like a pick play in football. You just kind of rub a little bit, got him an angle. And DeAndre Williams, the leading scorer for Evansville, finishes.
Remember, coming off a 26-point, 9-rebound, 3-assist game against Ball State. A little different situation than playing Ball State.
Yeah, no question.
We were talking about it during the commercial. Williams has shown a lot of patience and composure. Strong take to the basket once again by Quickly.
Yeah, he has really shown us the ability to get it at the basket quickly for Emmanuel. Good drive, got the bump, couldn't finish. Now he's got to cash it in at the free throw line. It has just been a struggle offensively for the Cats. Not a lot of fluidity in the half-court sets. And again, right now, they're looking around and saying, where's P.J. Washington? Where's Tyler Hero? Those guys are gone. Some other guys have to develop that killer instinct and be able to go make plays.
Well, we talked before the tip, and the one constant at Kentucky is constant change and new faces and talent. And some wonderful players have moved on to the NBA. And also a quick update on Reed Travis. Did a little checking. 11.7 rebounds, the grad transfer from Stanford. He is now playing in Germany, and the crowd is very uneasy.
Kentucky's just got to do what they do. Be elite defensively. Don't be over anxious. Evansville's done a great job of milking this clock and then playing out of space.
And it's going to be a holding foul. There's some contact away from the play. Whitney picks up the personal. That's his second.
Back cut by the senior. Not only does Whitney get the foul, but he gets an elbow right to his mouth.
Well, and we were having a little fun. KJ Riley, who drew that foul from Bronx, New York, I think he probably went to drama and acting school as well, because he did a wonderful job of attracting the officials' attention.
No question.
And that's part of the game of basketball.
No question. It's the difference between being a senior and being a freshman. Just having that game experience. Big out-of-bounds play opportunity here. We saw them cash in the first half. I like the pass. Good recovery by Keon Brooks.
5 team fouls now on Kentucky.
Good extra.
Extra pass. Fender King buries a three-pointer. And DeAndre Williams with the assist. Big pass and make.
You talked about it, Paul. Very unselfish play. The young man is only his second game at Evansville. Has a great feel for how to play.
He was ineligible last year. Kept his scholarship. Was able to practice with the team. Quickly tries to answer, not there. Offensive rebound down inside and put home nicely by Keon Brooks Jr. Much needed basket for Kentucky. Inside of 4 minutes to play.
Great drive and drift quickly. Who Cal thinks maybe their best perimeter shooter misses it, but Keon Brooks with a big offensive board.
Frederick King very, very early in the clock.
And what does it lead to? It leads to Kentucky in transition. Block. I think he may have been in the restricted area. Ashton Hagen's back to the free throw line.
We'll step aside. Evansville now clinging to the 4-point advantage. Free throws for Kentucky.
Down 4, under 4 to go, guys.
Thank you, Dari. When you're Kentucky, and particularly when you're Kentucky ranked #1, you always get everybody's best shot. Back with Andy Kennedy, I'm Paul Sunderland. Take us through the last 3:48. Could be a factor. Just look, Evansville now after that play, out of fouls.
Well, I think it's going to come down to this, Paul. Kentucky's going to have to sit down and guard the bounce. All of Evansville's success in the half court has been in the spread set, trying to attack a matchup. They're going to have to do a good job of staying in front of the ball, being help-oriented, which is what Cal teaches, but don't over-help. Don't be over-anxious. Don't bail Evansville out. And offensively, the Cats have to continue to get downhill off the bounce and finish in the paint.
And speaking of in the paint, Nick Richards, who was saddled with a couple of early fouls. So far, he has 6 points to go along with 6 rebounds on the night, coming off a double-double against Eastern Kentucky, and Nate Sestina only 2 of 4 from the floor. He has done some work at the free throw line, 9 points and 5 rebounds, and at least coming in, when you looked at these two teams, when you were at shoot-around earlier today, you would have thought Kentucky had a really big advantage down inside, and it has not played out that way. You got to give Evansville a lot of credit for really battling in the paint.
No question. Early foul trouble may have thrown the Cats out of rhythm, but at the end of the day, and we saw it with Sestina on a couple of matchups, you know, defensively, we talked about this at the break, Paul, defensively, he may have a matchup disadvantage because he's guarding a smaller, more perimeter-oriented player. Offensively, they've gone to him in the block a couple of times. He has not looked as comfortable with his back to the basket. They've got to have finishes inside in order to pull this out.
Well, you made a really interesting point about Sestina really being a stretch 4. He's much more comfortable facing up.
Without question.
61-58 inside of 3:40 left.
They're going to milk this to the end and try to get dribble penetration. It's going to be difficult to do against Higgins. You got to know where Cunliffe is. Even though he has not scored this half, he has had a monster game.
Shot clock inside of 5.
He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it.
He
doesn't know it.
Givens off the dribble. Do they get it off? No, it's late. That is a bad possession.
Terrible possession, and it was out of a timeout. Kid just lost track of the time. And as a result, empty set, good defense by UK. Now you got to pay it off on the other end with a basket. Maxey off the bounce
and has that shot blocked out of bounds by Cunliffe. There'll be more free throws coming. Maxey so far on the night, 13 points, 4 of 10 shooting. He has been superb from the free throw line in the early going this season.
UK in all 3 games has made more free throws than their opponent has attempted, and that is holding true again tonight. This is their 23rd and 24th attempt. And Evansville, it's a 1-and-1. They called a 1-and-1. Interesting. I thought Doug Shaw said 2, but they must have called that on the floor. Big front end.
Very surprised by that. That foul was called early. I thought it was 2 shots for sure. Evansville with the 18 fouls, not in the double bonus, of course, until 10. Ball working to get Sestina, got his feet underneath him. Long rebound.
No check out. That's the shooter. Challenge, check, don't get the ball, no check out. Hall comes up with another possession, but again, with only 20 on the clock, we're already under 5.
Looking for the backdoor cut. Riley takes it to the rim, draws contact, and he'll get back to the free throw line. He goes in there with a purpose.
Yeah, he is very good at that, does not get flustered, knows the time. I guess with Keon Brooks, when he slapped down, that might have been the foul. I thought the initial defender was vertical, but Keon Brooks with a slap down must have been the call.
Riley is going to take his 7th and 8th free throws. Among all his other teammates, they've taken a total of 4.
He gets it at the basket, doesn't he? And you gave us a great stat in the first half, over 240 some odd times last year. This is what he does.
8 free throw attempts per game last year for the senior out of Bronx, New York. Averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, most improved team in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Good possession here. Down 5 with 2:20 to play, because you know Evansville is going to bleed this clock. Nick Richards back in. Has not done much offensively. Another good drive. That time he finishes.
Opened up the floor for Higgins. They spread it out. Richards and Sestina staying wide, and Higgins took it right to the rim. Crowd back in it.
Higgins is terrific on the ball, but you've got to respect Shamar Givens' speed, because he does have the opportunity to break you down, which are going to lead to unnecessary rotations. Keep him in front of you if you're Big Blue, under 10 in the clock.
Shot not there. Offensive rebound right at the front of the rim. Put back up and in by Riley. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining, and Evansville with a 5-point lead.
Nick Richards with great initial defense, but you have to clean it up and secure your defensive glass.
Richards turns over his shoulder. Not there. And the rebound taken by Cunliffe.
Okay, he's got trouble now. Both teams in the bonus. Maxey is a tremendous on-ball defender as well, but you have to respect the speed of Shamar Givens.
An unranked opponent has not come in to Rupp Arena and won in the last 52 tries. Three-pointer needs a bounce, though. Didn't get it.
Still got time, but you got to play with a sense of urgency. Get it at the basket.
Quickly takes it right to the front of the rim, up and in, and a timeout is called. Timeout called by Kentucky. 44.5 seconds remaining. Evansville leading by 3.
I thought Evansville had a pretty good look at it. It might have been the knockout punch. Good penetrate and pitch for Frederking. Came up a little short on the look. Just like that, Kentucky's got it back at the other end. We're in a one-possession game.
Kentucky has one timeout remaining. They are in the bonus. Here is again what's at stake. Mentioned it moments ago. 52 straight wins at home versus non-conference unranked opponents. Kentucky again ascended to the #1 spot in the rankings after their wonderful performance in New York and their then win over previously #1 Michigan State.
Let's talk strategy, Paul. 44 seconds to play, 30 on the clock. Expect some full court pressure. I don't know if Kentucky will run and jump, but they're going to certainly pressure you distance. Get a stop, and then Evansville's got to be smart, realizing they cannot give up a three-point shot. Any drives don't help. You're in control of the game if you can manage it properly, and they got it in the hands of the guy that has been really good. Here comes the running jump.
That ball deflected out of bounds. Mentioned Kentucky with one timeout remaining. As you can see next to Evansville, they have 3 timeouts remaining. That could be huge.
If I'm Walter McCarty, I'm sorry, Paul. If I'm Walter McCarty, I want to get it in number 33's hands. He has the ability to get the ball where he wants. I would get it to my senior at the end of this clock, but it looks like they're going to stay with 5.
Well, in Kentucky can't get him to the free throw line. They only have 16 fouls.
Late in the clock, you got to play this through now.
Givens trying to take it inside, and a shot clock violation. Well, they were able to run off a tremendous amount of clock. Didn't end that possession the way Walter McCarty would have liked it. 65-62, one possession game. Kentucky still with a timeout remaining.
No, that was a tough possession if you're Evansville. Obviously, you got 30 seconds off the clock, but you don't even get a shot at the basket. 33, Riley, who has been tremendous by getting to the free throw line off the bounce, doesn't even touch it in the possession.
That's a great point, Andy. He's been so good at attacking the rim and attacking the bigs like Richards and Sestina when they've been on the floor. Be willing to take contact. He's got 18 points on the night and a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Take us into the Kentucky huddle and where they go with their offense. Well, do they have to get a 3 right away?
I think you take best available. If I'm them, I will say this, as you said, they would have to foul twice to get Evansville in the bonus. You are running out of time. I would try to get a 3. I'm sure Cal is going to design something to try to get Maxey or Quickly open off some baseline screening action. You want to try to get a clean look at the 3. If they're overplaying it, you still have time to get a quick 2 and foul.
So far on the night, Kentucky is 4 of 16 from three-point range. Quickly is 1 of 4. Whitney is 1 of 3. And Maxey 1 of 3 as well.
They've done a decent job of guarding Kentucky's perimeter. Nate Sestina has not had a look from 3 in this game. He had 1 in the first half, 0 for 1, but it has not been his night, but I think he's the easiest one to get open on some kind of pick and pop action.
Question here for Evansville. Do they foul if it's under 5 and then force Kentucky into a free throw situation?
You know what? It depends on the preference of Walter McCarty. It looks as if that may be the case, but they're going to take the quick 2.
Out of timeouts.
No, I think Evansville took the last timeout.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Evansville took the last timeout. Now Kentucky is out.
That was a quick score, 7.9 seconds remaining. And Kentucky still needs a steal, because if they foul, it'll still just be ball inbounds with a couple of ticks off the clock.
I'm sure they know that. I'm sure Cal is relaying that to his team. There's going to be a lot of pressure to try to deny the inbound. I would be surprised if they did not try to get a hard trap initially before the foul, see if they can get a turnover, quick basket, try to steal this game. Evansville has been outstanding. A couple of poor decisions at the end of clock as they're trying to salt this thing away. I would make sure 33 touches this ball off the inbound. He's their best foul shooter. He's their most trusted with the ball. He is their senior leader. You've got to find a way, if you're Walter McCarty, to get it to him off the initial.
What a homecoming for a 1996 NCAA champion in Walter McCarty. This team knows how to play basketball, and he's over there orchestrating. This is a well-coached, well-schooled basketball team, and they've shown it in this environment.
He's done a great job. They've done a good job, especially early, of playing in the open floor, score early, score late, end of clock, and they found what was working. They're a sets team. I saw them go over about 20 sets today and shoot around, but they've really emptied a lot of that based on personnel and based on the fact that they know they have an advantage off the bounce with 5 out. Right now, all of that is water under the bridge. You've got to get the ball in and be strong, and it looks like 33 and 5, their two primary ball handlers are where they're trying to go. So you got Ashton Hagans versus Riley. Great one-on-one matchup. Let's see who can win it to get this ball inbounded.
And they can get Evansville to the free throw line. Kentucky has 16 fouls. They've adjusted the clock to 8 and mentioned the timeouts remaining for Evansville. They don't take any chances. DeAndre Williams was inbounding there. And you were talking about, we were complimenting Evansville, and rightfully so, on the quality of basketball they played the last several years before going back home to Evansville. Walter McCarty worked for Brad Stevens with the Celtics. Everybody recognizes as an awfully good basketball mind. And I thought of it when you mentioned sets, because they've really been running some good stuff against a Kentucky team that you mentioned has to hang their hat at the defensive end.
No question, and I don't think Kentucky has done a bad job of guarding the ball. You know, when you come in your own building and you hold your opponent to 65 points in the University of Kentucky, #1 in the country, you've got to find a way to manufacture more scoring opportunities for yourself. A lot of point-blank misses. They were out of rhythm early with some early turnovers, giving Evansville confidence. And right there, Evansville, I think DeAndre Williams may have forgotten that you can run the baseline. And entering this ball, it looks like they were just simply trying to post up KJ Riley, and Ashton Hagans wasn't having it. But you got to remind your player, now they're going with Frederick King to inbound it. He can run the baseline, because this all started with a made layup by Tyrese Maxey.
Right. Cunliffe looking for the ball at the free throw line. That's
changed
Kentucky's
everything.
Free throw line.
Yeah, look what they're doing. They're going after the freshman, Khalil Whitney, with Sam Cunliffe. They changed the inbounder, but you've got Nick Richards on the inbounder. Watch his length having a factor in this play. Cal, this ain't his first rodeo. He changed to Ashton Hagans at the front, got the freshman out of there. And there, got his hand on it. Now it's a spot, Paul. He could not move, which makes Nick Richards' size on the ball much more problematic.
1 timeout remaining for Evansville. Yeah, and they'll take it now.
I think they're going to go monitor review, honestly. They're going to review
everything.
That's a good
call. It's good to go to it. Absolutely right.
Just to make sure, I think it was clearly off Ashton Hagans. They may be looking at a timing issue.
Oh, yeah, that's off Hagans.
And they may be just checking the time.
Remember, we talked about Evansville and their resume in the 1980s and 90s. They were more than a respectable mid-major. They were a real program to be dealt with. 5 NCAA appearances all time, but the last in 1999. That is a lifetime ago.
Have they ever beaten a #1?
Oh, I'm sure not. I'm sure not. And what a setting. Walter McCarty on the sideline. First ever meeting between Kentucky. Oh, I'm just getting a great note. A wonderful note. Thank you very much. And a great question, Andy. Evansville is 0-2 all time versus #1 ranked team.
You notice the one thing they did do with the monitor review, they obviously got the call right, but they also added a little time, which is beneficial to Kentucky. Nick Richards on the ball. If I'm him, I'm not jumping around. Just be big. Just be big.
Williams to inbound. Both teams out of timeouts. Immediately the foul is taken by Higgins, and Sam Cunliffe, who had 15 points in the first half to lead the way for Evansville, will go to the line. Scoreless. That's exactly the point. Exactly the point. Wouldn't you have tried to get the ball? You mentioned to KJ Riley.
I would have, but you know what? Maybe they didn't like the matchup, but then Cal did a smart thing. He just switched the matchup. When KJ Riley was down initially, they had Ashton Higgins on him, the best on-ball defender in the gym. So they switched it, and then Cal made a smart move by switching Whitney and Higgins, so Higgins still was on the ball.
Either way, it'll be a one-possession game. Cunliffe now 2 for 3 on the night from the line.
He shot it like he's got to go somewhere. Might have a date after the game. He shot that thing awfully quick, didn't he, under these circumstances?
I would have too.
Watch how quick he gets this thing off. Nothing but net.
Kentucky with no timeouts, and now a 3-point advantage. 67-64.
I don't know if Coach McCarty practices fouling, but I would certainly implore it here.
Maxey on the way for the tie, and it comes up short.
What a win by Evansville.
And for that man right there, what a moment for Walter McCarty.
Incredible job done by Walter McCarty and his staff. And credit goes to the Purple Aces. Executed perfectly, made the plays that were there to be made, and pulled off a program-changing upset.
Boy, it has been a tumultuous early college basketball season. For the first time in AP poll history, a #1 team has lost multiple times. Michigan State going down on a neutral floor at Madison Square Garden, and now Kentucky, and ended a streak of 52 straight wins against non-conference, unranked opponents at Rupp Arena. A tremendous performance by Evansville. One last look at the final possession. You made a great point. I was anticipating Evansville fouling.
I was too. Obviously, they weren't as comfortable with that strategy because they definitely were not going to foul. Maxey with a very difficult shot it a little early. Again, inexperience from being in this position. But what an incredible effort by Walter McCarty.
A huge moment.
And
10
the
years
Evansville Purple Aces, wow.
Tremendous job by his team, by the coaching staff. And just a wonderful win by Evansville, and a historic win, 67-64. We talked about the fact that Evansville in one of the polls was picked 7th and another poll was picked 8th in the Missouri Valley Conference. And now the man of the moment. What a magnificent job.